The idea that the world is moving toward the extinction of most languages, leaving only a small number of dominant ones, has been a subject of scholarly concern, particularly in linguistics and anthropology. There are several interrelated reasons why scholars predict such a future. One key factor is globalization, which is driving linguistic homogenization. The expansion of global trade, migration, and digital communication creates pressure for people to adopt lingua franca, most commonly English, though other major languages such as Mandarin, Spanish, and French also play significant roles. As people increasingly prioritize these dominant languages for economic and social mobility, smaller languages are marginalized and eventually abandoned. Another reason for the projected disappearance of many languages is the urbanization and migration trends seen around the world. As people move from rural, often linguistically diverse areas to cities, they tend to adopt the language that offers better integration into urban life, often at the expense of their native or heritage tongues. Over time, children growing up in urban environments may lose fluency in their parents' languages, favoring the dominant language of education, media, and government. This process contributes to the erosion of linguistic diversity, especially in regions where multiple minority languages coexist. The education systems in many countries are also a driving force behind this linguistic shift. Formal education often favors instruction in a dominant national or international language, leaving little room for the preservation or promotion of minority languages. In many countries, the prestige and perceived utility of being proficient in a dominant language push communities to prioritize it for future generations, even when this comes at the expense of their ancestral languages. The suppression of local languages in schools and institutions not only reduces their practical utility, but also devalues their cultural significance. Technological advancements, particularly in communication and media, further exacerbate this trend. The internet, television, and social media are overwhelmingly dominated by a few major languages, especially English. While there are efforts to localize content, smaller languages often lack the resources to compete in digital spaces. This results in speakers of minority languages spending more time consuming content in dominant languages, reducing the functional role their native language plays in everyday life and cultural transmission. Another important factor is the economic dimension. In many parts of the world, speaking a dominant language is seen as essential for participating in the global economy. Job opportunities, access to international markets, and mobility often hinge on proficiency in a major language. This economic pressure leads people to abandon smaller languages, which may be seen as offering little to no advantage in the modern economy. Over time, as fewer children learn these languages, they become endangered and ultimately extinct. Political forces also play a crucial role. National language policies often prioritize a single or a few official languages, marginalizing others. In some cases, this is done to foster national unity, but it can have the effect of erasing linguistic diversity. Additionally, political instability, war, and colonization have historically contributed to the extinction of languages, as dominant powers impose their language on subjugated or colonized peoples, leaving smaller languages to wither away over time. Finally, scholars are concerned about the cultural implications of this shift. Language is not just a means of communication, it is a repository of culture, history, and identity. The loss of a language often entails the loss of unique worldviews, traditions, and knowledge systems. As we move toward a world dominated by a few languages, the rich diversity of human experience encapsulated in linguistic variation diminishes. The extinction of languages, therefore, is not just a linguistic issue, but also a cultural tragedy, with profound implications for humanity's understanding of itself. What can be done to prevent a widespread extinction of languages? There are several actions that can be taken, each addressing different aspects of language preservation. These efforts require collaboration between governments, communities, and international organizations, and they focus on both revitalizing endangered languages and preventing others from becoming endangered in the first place. Here are 7 key approaches that can help avoid the bleak prediction of linguistic homogenization. Promotion of bilingual and multilingual education. One of the most effective ways to preserve endangered languages is to integrate them into formal education systems. Bilingual and multilingual education, where children are taught both in a dominant language and their heritage language, helps maintain fluency in both. Research shows that children who learn in their native language in early years develop stronger literacy and cognitive skills, which can then transfer to learning a dominant language like English or French. By making heritage languages a standard part of curricula, governments can help ensure that future generations are proficient in both their native language and a global lingua franca. Community-led language revitalization programs. Local communities must be at the forefront of language preservation efforts. Grassroots initiatives, such as language nests, where elders teach young children in their native language, cultural festivals, and the development of local media in endangered languages, are vital for keeping these languages alive in daily use. Indigenous and minority communities are often the most committed to preserving their languages, and empowering them with resources, training, and platforms for language promotion can make a significant difference. Community radio, podcasts, and social media channels in minority languages are ways to ensure their continued relevance in the modern world. Government support for language preservation policies. Governments play a crucial role in safeguarding linguistic diversity through supportive policies and funding. Policies that recognize the importance of minority languages, provide legal protection, and allocate resources to preserve them can create an environment where linguistic diversity is valued. Governments can also protect the rights of speakers of minority languages, ensuring that they can use their languages in public institutions, such as courts, schools, and healthcare. Digital and technological tools for language preservation. Technology can be harnessed to preserve languages by creating digital resources such as dictionaries, grammar guides, and learning apps in endangered languages. Efforts to archive and document languages in digital formats, such as through video recordings, text corpora, and oral histories, are crucial for languages with few speakers. Cultural media and arts to reinforce language use. The arts, music, literature, film, and theatre are powerful tools for promoting language use in vibrant, engaging ways. When endangered languages are used in popular media, they can gain new life. Governments and private sponsors can fund the creation of films, television shows, books, and songs in minority languages. This helps reframe them as modern, living languages rather than relics of the past. International cooperation and frameworks. International organizations such as UNESCO and the United Nations have played an important role in raising awareness about language endangerment and providing frameworks for action. For example, UNESCO's Atlas of the World's Languages in Danger tracks endangered languages and promotes policies to protect them. International cooperation can help establish language preservation initiatives that cross borders, as many minority language communities are transnational. By promoting international agreements and funding joint projects, global institutions can encourage the sharing of best practices, resources, and data to support language preservation on a wider scale. Raising awareness and changing attitudes. Finally, societal attitudes toward linguistic diversity must shift for language preservation efforts to succeed. Many people, including speakers of minority languages, often undervalue their native languages, seeing them as impractical in a globalized world. Educational campaigns that emphasize the value of linguistic diversity, both culturally and cognitively, can help change these perceptions. Just as biodiversity is seen as essential to the health of ecosystems, linguistic diversity can be reframed as essential to the intellectual and cultural richness of humanity. Encouraging pride in one's linguistic heritage and understanding its global significance are vital steps toward fostering an environment where language preservation is possible. By implementing these measures, scholars and activists hope to create a world where linguistic diversity thrives, rather than diminishes. Such efforts are vital not only for preserving the languages themselves, but also for maintaining the cultural richness and knowledge systems that each language represents. What role can artificial intelligence play? Artificial intelligence, AI, has great potential to contribute to the preservation and revitalization of endangered languages. By leveraging advanced technologies, AI can assist in language documentation, learning, and promotion in ways that were previously unimaginable. Here are 7 key areas where AI could make a meaningful impact in safeguarding linguistic diversity. 1. Automated language documentation. One of the most significant challenges in language preservation is documenting endangered languages before they disappear, especially those with few speakers or without written traditions. AI-powered tools, such as natural language processing, NLP algorithms, and speech recognition software, can help linguists and communities automatically transcribe, analyze, and archive spoken languages. AI can detect patterns in large amounts of spoken data, create structured databases, and even generate grammar rules for languages that may not yet have formal descriptions. This accelerates the documentation process and ensures that even lesser-known languages are systematically preserved. 2. AI-driven language learning platforms. AI can enhance language learning platforms by offering personalized, adaptive learning experiences for endangered languages. AI can generate content for languages with limited teaching materials, making it easier to scale educational resources. 3. Translation and interpretation tools. AI-driven translation tools are becoming increasingly sophisticated and can now handle many languages, including less commonly spoken ones. Expanding this capability to endangered languages could provide speakers with real-time translation and interpretation services, allowing them to use their languages in digital communications, legal settings, and other official contexts. AI-powered translation could make endangered languages more functional in modern life by bridging the gap between minority and dominant languages. This increases their practicality, which in turn encourages their continued use. Voice assistants and conversational AI. AI-powered voice assistants could be designed to recognize and interact in endangered languages. Currently, most voice assistants only support major global languages, but by incorporating more languages, especially those at risk, AI can make these technologies accessible to more people. Conversational AI trained in endangered languages would allow speakers to interact with technology in their native tongue, reinforcing its use in everyday activities. Additionally, such systems could serve as language tutors, helping learners practice speaking and listening skills in an engaging and interactive way. Creation of AI-based language models. Some AI language models are trained on vast amounts of text data to generate human-like responses. While these models are typically trained in dominant languages, they could be adapted to generate and process content in endangered languages, even when limited data is available. This could involve AI systems creating written materials such as stories, poems, and dialogues based on existing language structures and vocabulary. These AI-generated texts can help to expand the body of written material in endangered languages, making them more visible and accessible in both educational and cultural contexts. Reviving lost and dormant languages. AI can also play a role in reviving languages that are no longer spoken or are only remembered by a few elders. By using historical recordings, written documents, and linguistic patterns from related languages, AI algorithms can reconstruct vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. This was seen in early efforts with Hebrew, which was revived as a spoken language in the 20th century. AI could assist in similar efforts for other dormant or nearly extinct languages, creating tools to teach and spread the reconstructed language to new generations of speakers. AI-driven language reconstruction could fill gaps in knowledge that may have been lost over time, allowing for a more accurate revival process. Cultural and ethical AI for language preservation. AI can be designed to reflect the values and cultural nuances embedded in endangered languages, ensuring that they are preserved not just as functional communication tools, but as living expressions of a community's worldview. AI systems can be trained to recognize the cultural importance of specific language practices, proverbs, and idiomatic expressions, offering a deeper, more meaningful engagement with the language. Moreover, ethical AI design can help ensure that the technology used for language preservation respects the wishes and autonomy of language communities. Instead of merely extracting linguistic data, AI can be used to empower communities to take ownership of their language's digital future, fostering collaboration between technologists and indigenous groups. By incorporating AI into language preservation efforts, we can address many of the challenges associated with documenting, teaching, and promoting endangered languages. AI offers tools that can scale solutions across communities and languages, ensuring that even languages with few speakers have a place in the future of global communication. However, it is important that AI solutions are developed ethically, respecting the cultural significance of languages and collaborating closely with the communities they aim to support.